What's,
She goes behind the scene here. Okay, thank you. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Welcome, everybody. That was very loud. Before I start, if Sarah, you could tell and remind everybody about the microphones for a minute?
Sure. With the mics here, if mics are on side by side, there will be feedback. So it works best if you turn it on, then talk. You'll see the red light. That means your mic is hot, and then turn it off. Because if they're on in series, we'll get the feedback. For the mic at the podium, and there's an additional one here at the table if needed, it really has to be directed, almost as if you're singing, like a rock star, very directed at your face. If it's just kind of held in the area, it's not going to pick you up.
Great, thank you. So I am now going to read the Open Public Meeting Statement. In accordance with Section 5 of the Open Meetings Act, Chapter 231, Public Laws 1975, be advised that notice of this meeting was made by posting on the bulletin board, Town Hall, and serving the officially designated newspapers a notice stating that this meeting would take place at the Board of Education Building at 434 Milburn Avenue, Milburn, New Jersey, at 7:30 p.m. on June 5th, 2025. Sarah, roll please.
Zachary Davis,
here.
Robert Frankel,
Here.
Brad Jenkins, Justin Salen,
Here.
Elizabeth Wenga, Christine Best,
Here.
Venkatesh Chatlavada, Allison Canfield.
Here. We will now move to the minutes of May 1st meeting. They've been distributed to the commissioners. Are there any additions or corrections? Hearing none. Do I hear a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Minutes have been approved. Thank you. We are now going to jump to memorializations from May 1st. Application number 608, Taylor Park Gateway, 100 Main Street, Township of Milburn was the applicant. We have application number 141, Forest Drive, custom, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry, did I have the wrong one?
Application 602.
Oh, application 602. Custom Building Group for the applicants. And then application number 606, 412 Wyoming Avenue. The Slocums were the applicants. Do I hear a motion to approve the memorializations as listed from May 1st?
Motion to approve.
Second?
Second.
Thank you. Sarah, roll please.
Zachary Davis,
I was not present, so I will not approve.
Robert Frankel,
Yes.
Justin Salen,
I was also not present, so I won't vote.
Christine Best,
Approved.
Venkatesh Chatlavada,
Approved.
Allison Canfield.
Yes. We are now going to move to old business. I'd like to change some things out. We have application number 58817 Highland Avenue has asked to carry to the next scheduled meeting. I'd also, some old business was, let me look here for a minute. It was on the letter to historic districts. This is a letter, it's something that we've done in the past to remind everyone that they're in a historic district before work can be done. It does say what minor work does. Did everyone have a chance to look at it?
Yes.
Do we have any comments or concerns about this? Again, we tried to put it in one letter, so it was easier. And it also referenced the website where they could get more information or also contact Barton Ross. So tonight, I would actually like to see if we could get an approval on this so we can get it out as soon as possible. So do I hear a motion to approve the historic property owner's letter that we made some slight changes to?
Yeah, motion to approve.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Great. Sarah, roll please.
Zachary Davis.
Yes.
Robert Frankel.
Yes.
Christine Best.
Did you want to comment at this time, Allison, or no? Oh, sorry, on the motion, on the letter?
Certainly, I mean, you can,
Oh.
I asked if there were any comments.
I know, I'm
or-
sorry,
No,
I
that's
was
okay.
just
That's
focused,
okay.
I apologize. I
No.
was, it's beautifully written. My only comment was the bolded statement, if you're planning changes to exterior, might maybe come more forwardly, like, that's all, just to catch somebody's eye so they understand the seriousness of the HPC. That's all. Somebody might skim read through it a little bit more. That was, I mean, it's nitpicky, but that was the only thing. I mean, it's beautifully written and it hits all the points, so approved.
And again, you
Yeah,
would like,
it's-
for clarification, you would like
No,
that?
I mean, it's just, you know, from a marketing perspective, I might kind of, like, this is the key sentence to me that's bolded, and like maybe have that more forward in the second paragraph, that was all. Because it basically instructs people, like, hey, if you're planning changes, like, take this seriously, that's all. I mean, the rest of it is very explanatory, but that would catch my eye, I might skim read over it, like, oh, historic property owners, that's just, you know, just to, you know, get them to understand the seriousness of actually applying.
Okay.
That's all. Otherwise, it's, I mean, it's beautifully written.
So certainly just moving a few things around, and again, we would have
Yeah.
to have legal take a look at it to see
Oh.
if there's any reason why that can't be done, which is fine. But if it can be done, we will make an effort to do that. If not, do you, and they don't feel that it's appropriate?
It's fine otherwise.
Okay.
It was just me being like, let's knock their socks off with it.
Okay,
So,
I
just
understand.
was-
Be more firm, I
Yes.
understand. So where are we?
We can start again, but that reminds
have
me,
a
there's a
comment
note
here.
from Town Hall, okay.
Okay, we have a comment.
So just want to clarify, this is going only to the existing historic districts?
Correct.
Not for any future designations, none of those new, nothing new, right?
No, it's only to property owners in the existing historic districts.
Which is the shortest train station and the Moulin Road, right?
It would be the Short Hills Park District, the Wyoming Park District,
Okay.
and then the new what do we call that one?
Short Hills.
Short Hills Train,
Train
downtown, okay.
Okay. And do we need to run this by anybody else in the township committee, given the history of these letters and how it has been received? Should there be any announcement sent out in the normal group before this letter goes out?
Well, certainly when it was done the first time, and yes, it will be reviewed before it's sent out. But the language is the same. They wrote the letter the first time. We did not. So what we did is we tried to put it on one page and say the same thing. But yes, this will then go through the township committee again. But we need to make sure that we agree on what's written now.
I'm good.
Okay? Thank you.
There's actually one comment from Town Hall. It's just a bit of housekeeping as far as the number that's listed. Since the letter was distributed last time, if they call the number that's listed currently, they're going to have to be transferred over to a different extension, which is like one more step. So it might be helpful to streamline it just by putting the direct extension, which I can
You can change.
provide to you. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good for roll?
I think so.
Okay, we'll start over again here. Zachary Davis,
Yes.
Robert Frankel,
Yes.
Brad Jenkins,
Can I vote on this even though I just walked in the room?
I did, which is,
Yes. Yes, yeah.
Justin Salin,
Yes.
Christine Best,
yes.
Venkatesh Chatlavada,
Yes.
Allison Canfield.
Yes. I'd also like to make a public announcement for the record that Brad Jenkins just slipped in. And
Sorry, I went to town hall. I wasn't here last month, so I didn't realize this is
Oh,
where
that's the
we are
worst.
now, so.
we've all been there, Brad. Thank you. So now we'll move on to new business. Yeah, but we don't have copies last. Yep, sorry about that. New business, application number 600, 7 Knollwood Road, block number 2108, lot number 2, is a non-contributing property in the Short Hills Historic District. And who's here tonight to represent this application? And hang on one, it's a regulatory application for demolition and construction of a new 2-story, single-family residence on the existing foundation with other property improvements. So if we could have the applicant and
Yeah, I'm the
the
applicant.
architect. Okay, we need to swear you in, our attorney.
Would you raise your right hand, both of you? Would you raise your right hand? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, truth.
Thank
Yeah,
you. And your
sure.
name and address for the record?
Kim Shu.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Mr. Klesse, your name
Timothy
and-
Plessy, 38 Chatham Road, Short Hills, New Jersey.
and can you just qualify yourself?
I'm a licensed architect and licensed interior designer in New York and New Jersey, and I don't know, I've been licensed for about 30 years. I've appeared in front of this board, I don't know, 30 times probably. I just said 30 because 30 was working. And it's in good standing, yes. Thank you.
Remind you that you have to be allowed
Close-
to start here.
Like way up.
Yes.
Okay.
And also, if everyone can turn off their mics when you're not speaking, because then you get some noise, other noise. Perfect. So please.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for your time. It's very simple. I love Short Hills. I live here for 10 years, and that's my, my decision. I will spend my rest life here. And my family, I have my parents-in-law and my parents moving with me. So I have a baby girl at home, and they need to take care of her because I frequently travel to city to work. And I still love my current house, but just a little outdated and small. So I bought a house in Glenwood. I love that area. And also I invited Tim, and because he's one of the best architecture, I believe him a lot. And with his wills and also everybody's approval, that please make my dream come true. Thank you.
Okay, I guess I'll start with the initial report that Barton Kim sent to me back on May 15th. Oh, I think before I start, I should say that the Pan-Qui application for 17 Highland is definitely going to come for the August meeting. Like, I want to personally guarantee it. Okay, so you won't have to carry it any longer. And thank you for it. But I think we have it all ironed out, and we'll be able to come. But in the first report that Barton issued on May 15th, he mentions a specimen tree. And Barton and I both went looking for it, and it's not there anymore. And I just wanted everyone to know. It's the last page of that report from May 15th. I can send it around if you don't have it. I don't know if he gave it to everybody. But anyway, it basically, is David Gibson's original report, and talks about the house being built in 63, later appears to be built in 65. But at the end of it, there's a thing about a tree, and it's not there. I don't know when it was removed, but if this is accurate, when it was done, then there was a tree that was later removed. So anyway, we started the project, and I'll just walk you through it really quickly. This is the existing drawings, which you have a copy of, and it's the house has an existing basement with a 2-car garage loaded on the right side. On my drawings, they're E drawings, existing. You want me to move? I'm sorry. Yeah. I'll pull, maybe I can.
Oh, yeah, that'd be, oh, perfect, thank you. Sorry, I just wanted to make sure. It's easier to see the bigger.
Okay, good. So an existing basement with this existing side-loaded 2-car garage, an existing first floor, and a really no second floor to this house. It's really a ranch, and if you look at on my E3 sheet, the existing garage is over here on the right side, and you come in. These 2 little windows are really the existing garage. And our proposal tonight is to take this building down to what I call the first floor deck, the floor deck of the first floor. Okay? There's a couple of reasons for it. The biggest reason is that the foundation is in good shape. It's a new house, kind of, in my business. It's built in like either 63 or 65, and it's a lot less disruptive to the site, a lot less disruptive to the neighborhood, and we can do our work without really ripping the whole site apart. The other thing that, I have one more sheet, the other 2 elevations, it's a really low single-story house. Here you can see the garage coming in on the lower level. The site also presently has 2 driveways, and part of this work is to eliminate the driveway that's on Knollwood, which I think Barton mentions in his report. If I go now to my proposed drawings, I'm now on my HPC 1 sheet. You can see the existing foundation and a small area in the front where we added to it. We removed a patio and reconstructed a smaller patio and took the 2-car garage and just added another bay to make it a 3-car garage, but basically left the site as is. On the right side here is the driveway on Park Place that I think I said Knollwood before, but it's a driveway on Park Place, which is the driveway we removed. This curb cut and driveway is really remaining as is. So we kind of were able to leave all the trees that are on the site and really have really minimal site disturbance. If I come up to my basement floor, the present 2-car garage, we just took out what's kind of like that den that you used to see in these houses behind the garage. We took that den away and turned it into a 3-car garage, and then came in, added our stairway going up to the 2nd floor, a bedroom, a full bath, and a little media room, and a kind of a small basement mechanical room. As I come up to the 1st floor, we just replanned the spaces and created a primary building, dining room, foyer, living room, and then a glazed area open, like an old porch that was enclosed where the office is. And then on the left side, we have a guest bedroom. And as we come across the back, we create a kitchen, eating area, family room, and we take this patio that was in this area and pushed it over to the back of the family room. right? Park is right here. Our coverages, everything all conforms in terms of zoning. I come up on the second floor. This is where I went back and forth with Barton a little bit because he wanted me to kind of scale the building down. He's especially worried about this building because it kind of sits up on a knoll a little bit, and he didn't want it to get too big. So that you can see how we clip down and have a roof area over here. We actually have a lowered plate at that height at about 7 feet. And then we have a clipped area and clipped on this side because we're trying to drop our building. You can see our roof here as we clip down. But we're able to get things that sort of a newer house would want, like a wider stairway than the original 3-foot stair. Then if I'm now on my BOA 5, we have a stone facade, and then we pushed our roof down, and you can see actually even my gutter mark is halfway across the window. It's at about, 3 feet off the floor where that gutter is. Everything's been really pushed down. We're way under our maximum building heights on top, and we come with our primary building and then our side buildings attached to it. That's that glass area, roof set back to again a lower area. This is the park side with the chimney coming up and the office space there. And you can see how we pushed it down. All the windows are 6/6, thermal pane, simulated divided light, glued on the front, glued on the back. They look like they're true divided, but they're actually not. And the shutters we get from this Kingsland Shutters up in Connecticut, they're, I gotta say, gorgeous. They really are. They're like they're beautiful mahogany shutters, and it's in that little packet that I gave you in there. And then this is my garage side, which really isn't visible because you come up from the tracks, and it's shielded by the grade that's forward of it. You could kind of get up to see this road, but you got to sort of look up the driveway. And the driveway where the curb cut is a little forward so that it's pretty well shielded. And then this is our rear elevation. And that's it. I'm just going to take you to the rendering. And I have a couple of them I can pass around if you want to see it. But that's our rendering of the building. It's brick chimney, wood siding, wood windows, wood shutters. All the materials are all natural materials. I know that's something that Barton was asking for in his recommendations at the end, and everything is. And then to the left of it is our landscape plan. And what I did is I added some trees into this area so that I could sort of block that driveway view a little better. That's what I was trying to do. And when I was saying before about the driveways, that typically this driveway, side-loaded, comes from where my finger is, on the back side, because it makes it a little easier to turn in. But by leaving it forward like we did, it actually gives me a better opportunity to put some foliage here and really block that view of the driveway. And that's everything, I think. Right? This house was built in 1960, either 63 or 65, and Barton has deemed it not to be, I guess I'll say, a contributing property. And I think his report feels that we've made an improvement for the district itself in this case. I don't want to really speak for him, but I'm
Right.
just saying his report.
Barton's not here today, or
I know,
he
that's
would,
fine, yeah.
he would go over his findings and recommendations.
Uh-huh.
Is there anything on those recommendations and findings that you can't comply with?
No, we can comply with all of this. We normally would, anyway.
So I think right now I'll just open it up for questions and comments from the commissioners.
I have just a general question. Is there a reason why we're raising the house and building from the ground up instead of expanding what's already there?
Like leave the first floor partitions?
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
I guess that's what you're saying.
Yeah,
We didn't want to leave the first floor partitions because we want to come back and put 2x6s on the wall
okay.
and come back and be able to insulate, tighten the house. And it's a little bit difficult to leave the existing walls when we modify the interior because all the bearing walls are lost and it's possible, but it's harder to, you end up with a lot of beams on the first floor ceiling, which probably just gets the plumber all worked up. But it also gives me a lot of problems with little deflections in the ceiling itself.
Okay.
Because the beams are actually a little deeper than the floor joists and they don't shrink as much as the floor joists. So this way we can get a clean surface to work on.
Okay. One other question. I know you mentioned about planting new trees. I'm looking at currently, there's a lot of like older growth trees. Are a lot of them coming down during the construction?
We weren't really taking trees down, I don't think.
There's one that's like right next to the house.
If we got something too close to the house. I
That's
guess
probably
we-
gonna come down.
Yeah, if
Okay.
it's,
I'm just thinking in terms
Yeah.
of sight lines as to what's,
but we weren't planning to cut. Like, the trees are supposed to be accurate on my plan. Like, I guess there's one in the corner here at the driveway. That I think we'd like to leave, really. Even though,
yeah.
this one on these two over here, I'd actually
So
wouldn't
not this
mind leaving either.
This is the one at Osmond Park Place.
This one's only 12 inches.
Oh, this one.
This one's only 6 inches. That's 10 inches. They're not big, these
Okay.
trees.
This is big.
These three.
Yeah, and there's one in the back right that's on Park Place. That's a larger,
Back this
I'm
one.
not sure what that is. Is that an oak, a pin oak maybe?
I think it's, you know,
I
You know, I
this looks
like-
like some type of fruit tree to me.
Oh, okay.
I don't know, it's pretty big. That's the one I think you,
is it the one that they put a 16 on?
Here, this is, just talking
I
about.
don't know. No, on the, look at HPC one. You'd be better for it.
Sure.
Oh, it's going to be way too small for you to see, I think. You know, all the calipers of the trees are on here. But we didn't think, oh, I can see one that's going to have to go, it's actually in the driveway.
Oh, this is a better picture. Is that,
Yeah,
that one's a beautiful
that
tree.
one,
would
and
be a
there's
tree, but
also,
that's lost.
yeah.
I didn't see the ones in the back.
It's not really close to the house, so I know you mentioned it's probably, unless it's something that's within the way of,
No, you know, nothing's too close for us, really, except for the tree in the driveway back here on the left. I
Okay.
could just see it's in the driveway. This is that driveway that I was talking about that we're removing as part of this. It's like this was, I think, I guess, another parking area at one time. I couldn't see at all where this big tree. I lived in
Yeah,
the
it's
house
that-
on Knollwood for years with a big,
Yeah,
it still has a big tree in the front.
yeah.
But
That's kind of
it's
why I
kind
was
of cool.
asking, because you mentioned
But I
this.
don't,
It doesn't really show it on the,
I don't know where it even
It's
could have
really-
been.
It's really pretty. I noticed it when I went
yeah.
today.
Yeah.
It's-
Would it be fair for me to say that we would like from you what's staying and what's being removed on this property
Yeah. yeah,
with
that's
the
fine.
original plans?
Mhm. Do you want me to do it now, or, you mean, or,
I don't think
Or
you
when we
know,
submit.
right?
yeah, I don't think we
Okay.
really know. I mean, I can see that there's one here in the driveway. And that's, to me, it looks like the only tree that we'd want to remove.
Okay, but I think we need clarification, so what we can do is put as a conditional that
Okay.
we need a plan as to which ones are going and which ones are staying. How's that?
maybe one of
good.
those.
That might eliminate a lot of conversation here, because right now, we're identifying trees that don't show up on this particular plan. And
There's a lot of trees on the property.
Yeah.
are we okay with that?
I'm okay with, I
Yeah.
just wanted some clarification, especially the one, yeah, some of the larger trees most notably.
And
Yeah.
I mean, I think that one fruit tree that's on the side of Park Place should stay, I mean, ideally, and should be protected during construction and possibly hand trimmed back, because it has a very historic, elegant aesthetic that, I mean, it would be disappointing to lose. And just, that was like the one thing, and there are a lot of trees on the property, some better than others.
So, just so you know, we will add that as a conditional,
Good. You know, we have to protect the trees
yeah.
anyway. Well, I mean, Dodie, well,
Yeah.
Stacy now. But
Great. Are there,
they're pretty good with it, actually. They're on it.
No, that's it for me.
thank you, Brad. Any other comments, questions about the application?
I have a question. Yeah, yes, okay. I am beautiful design, and it's going to be stunning. I wanted to just ask one quick question, just reading through some of the general comments from Barton
Yeah.
about, the house fitting in the historic space of the neighborhood, and this is a massive improvement. I wanted to understand if the stone front, because, it's an illustration, there's a lot of this cultured stone going onto homes that almost has an indoor feel to it. I don't know if you've seen some of the, throughout the neighborhood, throughout the town, but I wanted to sort of understand, is this like a natural field stone, or is this cultured stone that's going to be applied? Like, I'm assuming it appears to be some type of veneer, or is it going to be?
It's, in my business, this is all called veneer stone. But it's 4 inches thick,
Okay.
and it goes on top of the wood frame construction. It's like sort of sits on the brick shelf if it was brick.
Right. But is it cultured, or is it
No,
natural
no,
stone?
no, it's natural
Okay.
stone.
What type of
It's,
stone is it?
It's in that
How does it-
pamphlet. It's,
I'm sorry, I missed
no,
that.
no,
I
it's here. I'll
apologize.
find it for you.
Thank you.
I just don't know if I'm supposed to hold the mic with the left hand or the right hand. I'm so confused.
How do rocks start?
It's, it's this, like, I guess we don't have page numbers here. It's towards the end. It's, yeah.
What's it called?
It's,
Oh,
it's a stone we get up at Morris Brick, up in Morristown.
Okay.
And it's, you see how it's, if you can find this page, it's Carmel Hill, and there's 4 types of cuts to stone. And the stone that we picked is the square, we picked the cut that's square and rectangular. Because we think it really does the best match to the hartshorn materials. It looks older. But that is actually the stone. It's up at Morris Brick.
Okay.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
If you see it, it looks very different with different cuts. So if you can
So
you
it's
Google it and find it?
variegated, is what you're saying, like the cuts are, like, they vary in size. I was just trying to.
Yes, yes.
The reason why I made the comment
Yeah.
was, there's so many beautiful historic houses in that area, and they have, sort of varying stonework that feels really natural versus veneer, and, with the tonalness of the house, it feels a little bit more modern and not as nuanced as some of the more historic homes. And it's just an overall comment, I mean, it's beautiful. I see it sitting in a place like Fairfield Estates more, a little bit more than on Knollwood. And that was the only reason why I asked that question, and maybe it's just little details. Like, I think it's just I don't want to say flatness, but everything's very tonal. Like, the roof is very tonal, so it doesn't feel as historic looking, but it's still a massive improvement. So that would just be my only comment. I don't know if that's even appropriate to say, but, that's all, just as it's sitting in the space that it relates to. That's
I think you're
my only
talking more
comment.
about a color way,
What?
like a color way, like the way that color has a movement to it
Yeah, there's,
in a good material. And
Yeah.
like, it's almost like you can't lose with good material. It's like a weird thing, but because it has a great colorway. I'm even looking at the mahogany here in the front of this, right? A colorway does wonders, and I think that's what you're really.
yeah, it's just more
And
transitional
the rendering probably
looking
doesn't
than-
get it well.
Yeah, maybe that's
colorway.
what it is. It's more transitional, or just some maybe additional details, that might just be missing, like maybe a rounded gutter or something that makes it feel a little bit more historic, or some lentils. I don't know what the answer is. I mean, it's a beautiful design otherwise, so it's just a simple comment.
I understand.
And the tree.
No, no, no,
That
I
one
understand.
tree, that one
I'm
tree.
just writing it
That
down,
one
yeah.
tree is really, it's really quite beautiful, and I think even just, just trying to save that one tree.
So let's come back to that, and anybody else have any comments or concerns? Yes, please, Zach.
Tim, just on, if I can continue on the stone, since it's such a prominent part of your, front facade, listening to what you're saying about looking to try and bring in what other Hartshorn buildings look like, this is very irregular in terms of its design, right? And so I was wondering what other options there were for patterns besides just rectangular, because it's going to look very irregular. Whereas if you look at a Hartshorn house further up the end on Norwood, and, I'm thinking about up where Rob lives in that area, we have multiple ones that have, stone facades there. They're very variable in their design and how they present that stone. This is going to look very regular. It won't have that same appearance. So if you were going for something like that, I don't know if there were other options.
There's basically four different cuts to stone. This may be actually a nice thing for a subcommittee when we're at the stone point. I don't know if you guys want to do that, if anybody would like to do that with us.
Well, I'm just thinking that.
But it may be
yeah,
good
how that's
because
gonna
you could
present.
really, I could get panels of this stone to the site. You could really look at this. It'd be
Yeah.
nice, actually.
I think if it wasn't the front, I wouldn't be concerned about it. And certainly where it is up on that little rise at the corner, it's gonna be one of the things people are gonna notice. And, let's do it right. So I agree. I think that might be a good thing for us to look at, your options.
And even Barton, it's always great to look at stuff with
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
he's always willing.
What other options are there besides this rectangular?
I
cut,
can't think of the
Yeah.
four, but there's four cuts to stone.
Ah.
You could even Google it and probably see them. And so first you pick the stone, and then you pick the cut. And the
Right.
stone looks unbelievably different with different cuts.
Yeah,
Like one's like a rubble, which I
Right.
think kind of looks a little too, doesn't look refined enough for what we're doing, like not trimmed at all. But it makes a huge difference on the stone. Like, you'd look at it, you'd almost think it's a different stone.
right. All right, well, I think that's, we can add that as a condition to look at that down the road. Otherwise, I think it looks great, so thank you.
I have a couple of questions, Tim. I couldn't find it in your sheets here, but you mentioned the garage doors, and certainly they're beautiful. Are we going to assume that in the front door, also mahogany as the shutters, or what's the material at this point?
The mahogany shutters are usually painted.
Oh, I didn't get that sheet. Oh.
I probably collated it, because nobody else shows up to do anything in my office.
It's missing
So it's
in
probably
mine.
my fault.
Okay, so
I can't
go
even
ahead.
blame anybody, The shutters are mahogany but painted, I think, not left natural mahogany.
But they are wood,
Yes, they're just mahogany because it's a great wood for a shutter, that's all.
okay?
It's
And
durable
so,
and kind of pretty weather tight. Like cedar would be a good wood for a shutter, but it's so soft and, pine is terrible, like all the shutters you see. But we're painting it. The front door, I didn't think we should paint at this point. It should be like an oak door or a mahogany door. But then I do notice that after about 5 years, everybody starts to paint their front door because it becomes a maintenance problem to hold the transparent finish. You know, it's really difficult. The garage doors, I think, should be painted, really. 'Cause I got this thing that I just don't like showing off the garage doors so much. I don't think that they're, no matter how pretty they are, like they're pretty, I just feel that garage doors should paint into the wall and still kind of not be popping out on the wall. But that's like a personal opinion that actually we talk about all the time in the office, because one of the guys doesn't agree with me.
Right. Can you show
So-
the rendering? Because I think it
I don't know what he did on the rendering.
did.
Oh, he
show
didn't
some-
actually go there. But
Yeah.
I just don't really like garage doors with a natural finish. I'm not talking about what material they are, I just mean, they look like they pop out too much to me. It's just me. It feels that way, like, you know, I see these big, like, it's like they're making too much of a big deal about the garage door. I like it to kind of fade in. So I tell everybody I want them to paint the garage doors to match the building.
So again.
That's my theory about
I just
this.
wanted clarification on that. And then the front door, if you're not going to stain it, you think you're going to,
No, I'm gonna stain it. I had the renderer change the front door because he originally had it white, right? Because he's just rendering stuff. It looked terrible to me. So I just wanted it to be brown. I think it's stained. But I think that after 4 or 5 years, the stain just becomes hard to maintain. And then people usually end up painting the door.
so.
You know, paint lasts for 7 years, stain's good for like 2 years.
So
you
just
know.
again, clarification, mahogany shutters, stained, which we don't know what
Mahogany shutters painted,
painted, okay?
like
And
painted,
They're going to
like
be a,
that, like right there, we have a sort of a neutral gray
okay,
that they use. The door and side light, I think, should be oak or mahogany, you know, a hardwood.
okay.
But I'm just saying, you may come by in 5 years and see it painted. That's all I'm saying. It's just hard. Sometimes I even like it painted brown, actually.
So, again, everything then, you're agreeing to is that, with Barton's comments, is that you're using real wood for
Yes,
windows, doors, garage doors, siding, right, correct?
everything.
Okay. I think that was it. Okay. Any other questions or comments?
Allison? I had one comment, just kind of brought something to my head. When you talked about wood, are those going to be just cedar boards going across, or I'm assuming they're cedar?
Cedar.
Okay,
Siding is
yeah.
cedar.
No, I know, I just
Okay,
was
yeah.
making sure.
No,
Sorry.
no, no, cedar.
And what about the trim work, the white trim, is
The
that
trim
going to?
work, we use this bodyguard pine. It's
Mm-hmm.
pine. When we want to, we were either using AZAC, right, which is the plastic,
Mm-hmm.
which actually looks pretty good if you round the corners a little bit and paint it. Or we're using bodyguard pine, which is a pine that's been injected to fill the pores, to make it more durable. Because the
Oh.
problem with the pine is
Yeah,
that it's
I
young
understand.
pine, it's got,
it's finger
it's
joint.
like a sponge with a lot of holes in it. Those holes hold moisture. Hardwood pine, when I see old pine, it actually is almost as heavy as oak is right now. Like, it's crazy.
Is the door going to be like solid or veneered? Is it a
No,
prefab
no,
door?
no, it'll be
I just-
solid,
is it-
a lumber core door, a regular door.
Okay,
You
I'm
know,
just
that-
trying to
that front
understand,
assembly
is
is
it a
worth about-
custom door, or is
Yeah,
it the
that's like
side
a-
lights are, they're, that's
She
all?
may
Just-
not know
okay.
this yet, but that's like a 10 grand door,
Okay.
that whole
okay.
assembly.
No, just because the door.
She just
it-
fell over. but
It makes.
That's
it-
about what it goes for.
Yeah, it makes it feel more historic in age.
Yeah, and it's a
is-
big deal, the
okay,
front door.
Thank you.
You know, when you see those fiberglass, I see these $4 million houses in town with
Right.
a fiberglass front door. It seems crazy, but.
Great. Any more questions? Okay. Do we have any, do we have anyone here for the open public meeting? Any comments on this application? Thank you. So I think at this point, I'd like to start, do I have a motion to approve with conditions listed? And that would be submitted documents, the construction documents that will also be going to the building department. A landscape update with that, and also stone approval of some, let's put the minor work review on the stone approval piece of that.
Okay.
I would like to mention, this is, again, a very historic park place. You know, I know you've kept that in mind with looking at this house. Again, I think the stone will make a difference, certainly the comments about the landscaping, and also using, you know, real wood materials, because I think this neighborhood, certainly as you see your neighbors and their homes, so we're trying to keep it, you know, at that level. So appreciate it. So do I hear a motion to approve with the conditions listed?
Motion approved with the conditions as listed by the commissioner.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Thank you, Robert. Sarah?
Zachary Davis,
Yes.
Robert Frankel,
Yes.
Brad Jenkins,
Yes.
Justin Salen,
Yes.
Christine Best,
Yes.
Venkatesh Chatlavada,
Yes.
Allison Canfield.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. There? I don't know what to do.
We have a second application, number 610, 9 East Lane, Block 2208, Lot number 9. It's a non-contributing property in the Short Hills Park Historic District. Applicant is Hannah Kendall and Will. Sorry, Will, they didn't put your name down here.
She's the important one.
Oh, okay. And this is a regulatory application for construction of a two-car attached garage with breezeway and patio, and a conversion of an existing garage into a family room with other property improvements. Can we have all of you sworn in by our attorney, please?
Would you raise your right hand? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Thank you. And your names and addresses for the record?
Will Kendall,
Hannah Kendall.
9 East Lane is the address.
And Zachary Goldstein of John James Architecture at 11 Inwood Place in Maplewood.
Can you guys talk into the mic, please?
Like a rock star. How's that?
So Will's just going to give a quick introduction.
Well, I need to make a clarification. It is a contributing house, not a non-contributing house, so I apologize. So thank you.
Okay, thank you.
We'll go right ahead.
Yeah, just a quick overview, quick background on us before I pass it off to Zach. We're very excited to move to Short Hills. I actually grew up in Short Hills on Hawthorne, right near the middle school. My parents grew up in Short Hills too, and my grandparents, so sort of a third generation Short Hills, went through the Milburn school system. Looks pretty similar. Some things have changed, but for the most part, it's the same. But we live in Brooklyn now. We have 2 young kids. we're really looking to put some roots down and want to do it in Short Hills and love the community and the town. And so very excited about moving. You know, as far as the changes, they're very simple. I mean, it's essentially putting in a 2-car garage because the current house doesn't have a 2-car garage. The rest of the changes are on the interior, and it's really important to us, as it is obviously to you, to maintain sort of the historical structure and aesthetic. And having grown up in the town, I can really appreciate that. So just wanted to thank you for your time and reviewing this, and I'm going to pass it to Zach to go through it.
Sure. My name is Zach Goldstein. I'm a principal at John James Architecture in Maplewood. I received my Bachelor of Architecture from Syracuse University and am a licensed architect in New Jersey, New York, Minnesota, and Tennessee. I've been a licensed architect in New Jersey since 2016. In that time, I presented to various historic boards and zoning boards throughout the state, and my license number is 20188, and it is in good standing. I'm also a member in good standing of the American Institute of Architects. Okay, great. So just to kind of walk through the overall project and kind of go from like a zoomed out perspective and then kind of zoom more into the existing contributing structure. So the address is 9 East Lane in Short Hills. The block is 2208 Lot 9, and this is application 610. The property is an undersized 24,171 square foot parcel on East Lane in Short Hills. Just for clarity, the minimum permitted in the district is 29,000 square feet. So it's just a little bit small, and that kind of plays into kind of what we propose today that we'll walk through. 9 East Lane is a colonial revival style house. It's built in 1930. The property is in the Short Hills Park Historic District, and the house is now contributing to the district in the expanded period of significance from 1878 to 1959. The house is a 2-story, 5-bay Central Colonial Revival residence that is clad in wood shingles. We believe it's cedar, and covered with an asphalt shingled side gabled roof. The fenestration consists primarily of 6/6 double hung sash windows flanked by louvered wood shutters on the front of the house. In terms of prior renovations, from what we can tell, it seems like there was an addition that was done somewhere between 1992 and 1994. The addition we think is kind of this component here at the back of the house that kind of juts out into the backyard. It's a little hard to tell. I think there may have been an existing structure that was there before the addition, just given the way that the chimney is kind of embedded in the facade. But at any rate, that we think that was maybe an addition that was done 30 years ago or so. And then just to walk through the existing structure. So as Will said, I think one of the key kind of contributing elements of the house that led to the addition or proposed addition is the existing garage. It's kind of designed in theory to be a 2-car garage, but at 18 feet 2 inches by 17 feet 10 inches, it's just too small to actually fit a car, practically, and definitely not big enough to fit an SUV. It's not deep enough, but it's also just not wide enough. And that presents a kind of just a difficult condition as it relates to the historic structure, but also as it relates to the zoning. A few other just elements of the house to just walk through. There's a kind of kitchen and family room that's in the corner here, in what we think was probably an addition in the 90s. And I think one thing that we were struggling with a little bit is just that it's kind of separated from the rest of the house, and it doesn't have some semblance of connectivity to the foyer and the living room and the dining, really. So that was something that we were trying to kind of work to improve through the proposed changes. And we also kind of felt like at the back of the house, there wasn't a great physical connection to the rear yard, and it's a beautiful rear yard. And we were hoping to kind of play up that connection so that it's easy to kind of move from inside the house to the rear yard. On the second floor, I think one kind of key challenge is in the primary bedroom. For one, the bedroom is situated where there's no clear bed wall. Basically, the door location, which is largely driven by the location of the staircase, makes it such that there's really no good place to put a bed up against the wall without putting the bed against windows. Additionally, the way that the closets are structured, it kind of pushes the bed and the primary suite towards the front yard, and all else equal, we try to kind of shift that towards the rear yard so there's a little more privacy in the primary bedroom suite. Additionally, the closets, I think for today's standards and this size home and neighborhood are just a little undersized, and so we were looking for opportunities to maybe improve on the primary bedroom a little bit and improve the kind of a layout so that it's easier to lay out with furniture and a bed. Before I go into the proposed, I just wanted to hand out a few. It is kind of funny having to hold the microphone. I just wanted to hand these exhibits over. So this includes, these are, I'll just show you for a second. I got it. So this is a rendering that Barton had requested. I just wanted to print it out so we can enter it into the record. It also includes a colored site plan. Here. This was slightly corrected from the version that had been emailed over yesterday, so we just wanted to kind of print that cleanly for everyone. And then there's a site plan as well, and then updated elevations, which just clarify which windows are new and which are existing, and responds to Barton's comment about a chimney at the rear of the house.
So if we can just mark that as Exhibit A1.
Great. Great. Okay, I just wanted to walk through the zoning for a second, just because it really drove the overall kind of design of the house. So ultimately, the existing garage is over here on the right side of the property. And like we said, it's just not large enough. And I think one of the things that was a constraint, that was frankly quite a difficult constraint, is this garage is so close to the side yard that to try and make it the proper width, we would have needed to make it 6 feet wider and also deeper. It just pushes the structure into the side yard setback, and also makes it so that it would have been quite difficult to get into that garage. So just there's also per the code, when you have a driveway that runs along the property line in the R3 district, it needs to be 5 feet from the side yard property line. And so when you just kind of add all those things together, it just wasn't possible to just simply enlarge this. And the other thing was that just if we tried to enlarge it, it would have impacted the front facade, and that was something we worked really hard to try and maintain the existing front facade. So basically, the kind of inevitable conclusion you kind of reach as you try to work through, okay, where could we fit just a reasonable 2-car garage? It had to be basically on the other side of the lot. And then the other requirement of the R3 district is that we're not allowed to have front-facing garages. And so it needed to be a side-facing garage. And then that also kind of drove some requirements about just the sheer depth you need for the driveway in order to turn into the garage. So it kind of, in some ways, the garage kind of just needed to be in this location. And I think what we liked about that, frankly, is just that it's tucked away in the back of the house, and really, I don't think you'd be able to see it from the front of the house. It's 1.5 story where the house is 2.5 story. So I think we were thinking it kind of worked well, and also was complying with the zoning. And so everything we're showing here today complies with zoning, which was an important thing for us to try and pursue. So the change really is just for the garage. Instead of the garage being here, it's in the rear, back of the house over there.
Can I just interrupt for 1 minute? Sure. You guys are welcome to sit down. I should have said
Sorry,
that
guys.
to you guys. I know it can be a long process. I should have said that to the other applicant, and I apologize.
No, I should have noted it as well.
You're welcome.
Great. So just to walk through the proposed structure, There's not much of consequence from a historic perspective, but in the basement, we're planning to dig out the space below the existing garage so that we can convert it into a gym. But I don't think there's really going to have much impact on the exterior. We're proposing a light well on the side of the house, which, if you were standing over it, you might see it. But that's really just, I think safety for one, but also just bring some light into that proposed gym. On the first floor, the key change that we're making is converting the existing garage into a family room. And I think what a big piece of this is really just serving to kind of create a stronger connection between these rooms and the ground floor, where the existing is a little bit of a separation. We're trying to kind of break open some really nice moments and openings between these rooms so that they feel kind of connected and intentional. And then we're proposing the 2-car garage in the corner here. And then in order to connect that garage back to the house in a kind of clean and seamless way, we introduced a breezeway that runs along the rear of the property. And so together with the breezeway, the garage, and the existing part of the house over here, it forms a kind of courtyard. And we thought it created a really great moment to have a nice garden that's in that kind of alcove. So that's kind of what we're proposing over here. And then in front of the family room, which was formerly the garage, we're proposing a kind of patio that opens out from the family room and also connects back to the kitchen, which we think would be really just kind of nice space, and turning what's now into a kind of like driveway space into like a really just kind of beautiful patio area. And that would be like a bluestone kind of random rectangular patio. And I think one other just component of this is the existing powder room is underneath the staircase that leads to the second floor. It's really, really tight. And so we were trying to just give a more generous amount of space to that powder room and also make it easier to have a kind of clean circulation to the basement. And so we're basically removing the powder room and putting a new staircase to the basement underneath the staircase that leads to the second floor. On the second floor, we're making some changes to the layout like internally here, just to optimize bathrooms, to make them a little more ensuite with the bedrooms, and give a kind of equal distribution of bedrooms so that siblings feel like they each have an equal bedroom, and just create a nice little kind of corner of the house here for the kids. And then at the top of the staircase, we're changing the location of the door into the primary bedroom suite so that we have a really nice bed wall that's centered on the fireplace. And then we're basically converting a room right now it's so small that it's really hard to consider it a bedroom, but we're kind of converting that into a nice vestibule at the entrance to the bedroom, which allows us to extend this wall, and which gives like kind of nice entry kind of arrival into the bedroom. And then we're opening up the closets here so that we get really nice views of the backyard. And converting the existing bathroom here into closets. And then the attic of the garage we're converting into a really nice bathroom, and the tub here is kind of centered on a dormer that looks over the top of the garage. So this elevation, just for clarity, this is the in your packet. This was the one that was just slightly updated from the submission. It's not really updated in design so much as we added some additional shutters because when we did the rendering, we just found that it was looking better to match the shutters that were on the front of the house in the kind of single windows. And so we tried to do that and thought it was kind of looking better that way. We're also responsive to one of Barton's comments. He had asked us to maintain this chimney here. And so we were proposing to do that. It takes a little bit of gymnastics to maintain that chimney, for clarity. It's just because I'm going to just show one of the photos of the existing. It's a photo 3 here. You can kind of see the existing chimney. The reason why we think that the chimney may have been original and the addition was kind of built around it is the shingles kind of butt up against it in a slightly unusual way. There's no real it's not really proud of the facade. It almost looks like the facade was like built around it. At any rate, we were initially proposing to remove it, but Barton thought it was of kind of historical significance, and so we were happy to try and keep it. It's going to require a little bit of structural work within the house to maintain it, because it's just, the location isn't like great on the interior for a chimney, but we think we could basically support it from the second floor and still have the appearance on the exterior maintained while the interior can still have the kitchen there. The range is basically proposed roughly where the chimney is, but we think we can basically support it internally so that we don't need to remove it.
Zach, do we have a copy of that particular photograph?
Yeah,
or-
this should have been part of the original submission, I believe. Photo 3.
Got it.
I think that might be it. That's on the other side of the house. I think that's number 3. Um,
Here we go, yep.
Okay, so just to kind of look at this kind of rear facade, and it's almost a little bit easier to see in the rendering, but I'll just kind of walk through it for a second. This is the existing structure of the existing back of the house. It has this kind of step back, kind of shed roof here, and then a gable, a kind of smaller gable at the top. And so as we were adding to this structure, we kind of knew basically where this needed to be relative to the setback from the side yard. It was kind of set by that. And then it just needed to be a certain depth, and that depth happened to be quite similar to the overall width of the kind of what we're proposing as the kitchen on this side. And then when we kind of came up to do the bathroom for the primary, we didn't need that full 24 feet of width. And so we thought it was a nice moment to almost create a kind of, not exact, but a kind of mirror of this structure that exists with the proposed structure so that it really feels like connected and tied in. And then we're proposing, just to look at the rendering for a second. Within the rendering, we're proposing basically like a standing seam metal roof on this kind of lower roof here, which we thought kind of like accented the kind of courtyard that we're creating, and also created like a kind of nice material differentiation here for this kind of small courtyard garden area in the center here. And then we're taking what are currently the garage doors and creating a nice series of French doors over on the side here that open from the family room. And one of the other things that we adjusted after rendering it is we just thought it needed a little bit more architectural articulation in that spot. And so we added a small pergola that extends, 2 feet or so over this door, just to give it a little more of an accent so that it really feels intentional. And then just to look at the view, this is the view looking towards the garage. And so we're proposing a carriage style door that would, it's simulated carriage style. It would have some seams horizontally that aren't super easy to see, but which would allow it to fold up. And we're proposing a large single door for 2 cars. And the reason for doing that is we're a little bit tight on that pull-in area into the garage. We have 28 feet, so it's good, but with a large car it can be a little tight. And so we just thought it would be a little bit easier and functional to do a really nice door, but just do a single one so that you don't have like that kind of center post to navigate when you're pulling in. You can see the dormer here. This is the dormer that the freestanding tub in the primary bath sits within, and that's centered on the garage below. And then there's a side entry door to the garage. And you'd walk through there and eventually get to the breezeway, which leads into the kind of heart of the house. On this side, you can see this is that chimney that we're proposing to keep, as requested by Barton. And one of the things we noted is this is proposed to be a bedroom, and so we wanted it to have a legal window. And so we're just changing this window so that we have a legal egress window. It's similar like size and shape to the existing. Yeah, and just to kind of just emphasize the point. The front of the facade of the house that you'd see from the street, we're really not changing that in any way. So that's really being maintained, and a lot of this work is intentionally kind of tucked behind the house so that we can, not alter the historic facade of the house. So yeah, I think in summary, this will give the family a usable garage, an improved interior layout, a house updated for current living while also preserving the historic character of the home. And we're asking for your approval based on our drawings and testimony. Thank you.
Thank you. Again, as you know, Barton's not here this evening. My questions to you, you've read his report and his recommendations. Do you have any concerns, or do you think you can follow? You certainly have with the chimney. Again, we will need construction documents submitted, right, to
course.
historic preservation, and I think that was it.
Yeah, and just one note about that. I just want to clarify Barton's comment. I don't think, I think we're on the same page, but I just want to clarify it. He had said that in the first floor kitchen, a similar chimney back can be used behind the new stove range as a decorative feature and supported above. This way the exterior appearance will remain the same. He's referring to the chimney that we were talking about. I think we could probably maintain that appearance on the exterior of the chimney and physically maintain it without the need to have any exposed brick on the inside of the house. So I don't think he was suggesting that we needed to have brick. I think he was maybe offering it as like a, you might do this if it's helpful, but anyway, I don't think we're proposing brick on the interior, just the exterior.
No, and again, I think that was a helpful design feature, or certainly another avenue to support the chimney, so we won't hold you to that.
Okay,
So,
great. I appreciate that.
Great.
Other than that, yeah, of course, yeah, we typically hold on doing construction documents just because we want to get your feedback before we go into detail.
Well, thank you. I'd like to take this time, anybody, any questions or comments for this applicant?
From the rendering, the chimney looks, the new chimney looks a little different. I don't know, is it the rendering?
It would be just a rendering if it looks different. It would be the same chimney.
The height and everything is
Yeah,
proportional.
yeah, we won't, we're trying to leave the existing chimney as is.
The new one that you said.
Oh, this is, it's not new, it's existing.
I see two in the old one.
There's two,
It's kind of off to the,
There's-
it's behind, you can't
Oh,
really
it's
see
on
it.
the other
Yeah.
yeah, sorry. Yeah, I think there's,
Figure that out myself. but-
there's a few chimneys in the house.
Plus it's not
It's a
painted, the other ones are
chimney.
painted,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, we're not proposing new ones, they're all just
Okay.
existing.
This is a stunning house,
Thank you.
stunning.
Yeah, we agree, trying to keep it that
I
way.
was like, oh, can I move in? Just kidding. I just had a quick question, because we got into this on another historic house. Some of the chimneys are painted, and then you have the exposed brick on this one. Are you're intending to keep it that way? Is it because that's how it was historically, or
Yeah, we're just, we were planning to
like
just
it's
keep
more
it the way it
eclectic?
is.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just
Yeah.
curious on that. And the only thing I wanted to ask you about was there's a small, I guess, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over 5 window. I'm assuming maybe that's on the staircase landing,
Yeah,
perhaps?
we wanted to bring light in there. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not ideal, but we were just trying to maintain a window there while still, the staircase is in the way,
Yeah.
basically.
I think that was like, that's just like nitpicking. It's just, because that little element of, I'm not a big fan of rounded windows myself, but just like something feels, I guess, missing that historic element of the original house where there was a little bit of variation between the window shapes. So this has more of a farmhouse look, but that's just being nitpicky. The house overall to me is fabulous and like, it's amazing. I love the little garden.
Thank you.
It's really nice.
I just have a quick comment. Yeah, I'll reiterate what Christine said. Beautiful house, stunning house, and what you guys are doing to it, it's not changing the facade. We definitely appreciate that. It's all behind the front, so you won't even notice it from the road. I just have a question about the driveway. The existing driveway that goes around the back to the garage, what is happening to that? Because I know you're adding, is it just going to be stopped where the curvature of the front driveway is, and that's going to be sodded over?
Yes.
Okay, I just wasn't clear on that. That's a better picture.
Sorry, I should have shown that.
I probably have it in here somewhere, I just didn't notice it, but
Out of
thanks.
paper.
That's nothing else from me.
I'll continue on with the front landscaping plan. It looks like you're going to have to remove 3 trees to put in the driveway on the left side of the property. Am I estimating that correctly?
There's a small tree at the back. Let me look at the existing.
Well, I'm looking
photos.
at what you have to remove to get their driveway in on the left side. There's a 12-inch and a 18-inch and a 16-inch tree by the house. I mean, I know there's no way around it, so, you know, you have to remove those to put the driveway there. It makes sense to move the driveway to the left side to put your garage on the left side. But is that right? It's just 3 trees?
To be honest, I don't have our proposed is covering up the original survey, and I apologize, don't
Yeah,
have
you
it
had
handy this second, but that may be the case.
Are you going to be planting trees to replace on the left side? I mean, I don't know what the border looks like with the neighbor, but obviously you have a driveway on the right side, now it'll be on the left side. You're going to do anything to increase, you know, the trees that you removed?
I don't see any reason why we wouldn't be willing to do that, yeah.
Okay.
Be happy, maybe we can have that as a condition.
Yeah, all right, that's great. Other thing on the front of the house, you are removing the door off of the existing garage.
You're right, that's a
right?
good point. No,
That's-
apologies for not mentioning that.
So-
Yeah, so, there is a door which leads, it's actually kind of interesting. Sorry.
I mean, that's you're replacing, you know, similar window, similar stone.
Yeah.
That's fine.
It's actually interesting that the existing garage, the only way to get from the garage into the house is you have to go through a door that exists right here, through the dining room to get in. And so in this case, we would basically be copying the existing windows that are already there to infill it, and would just do our best to infill the stone properly.
And you don't want to keep the door.
We weren't proposing to.
Right.
No.
It's like a family room, I
It's a
guess.
family room,
Yeah.
so it's almost like maybe it feels
Yeah.
a little like security kind of.
And I guess the other question I had is how deep is that room going to be underneath your existing garage? Because you're going to have to excavate quite a bit to establish that.
Yeah. So that's what we're planning to do. I mean, admittedly, there's a possibility that if for some reason it ends up being extraordinarily difficult to excavate underneath there, that we might excavate under the proposed new garage.
Okay.
They would all be kind of in the basement. So
Yeah, just thinking about that side of the property and trying to put something underneath it, I get nervous about excavation underneath that. So I was just a little concerned.
I think the piece of it that will make it a little easier that I was thinking is just that there already is 2 garage doors there, so it's quite open on that side. Getting an excavator.
Yeah, but
into
right
the
now,
back.
there's no foundation. It's just on slab, right? You have to.
Yeah, we'll have to dig down and
Yeah.
underpin. Yeah.
And that's going to be 8 feet, 10 feet, something, I guess?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna match, there's probably an existing basement underneath there right now, right?
No, I don't. no,
Not
no.
there, but I mean underneath the main house?
Yeah, so there's a basement that's adjacent to it.
Yeah, so you're gonna match that depth?
Yeah, so we won't be undermining. We may underpin slightly the existing basement, but we're not going to do much there, just because there's already a basement adjacent.
Okay. All right, those are my questions. Thank you.
Sure.
Anyone else? Questions, comments? I'd like to make a comment. I've received calls to tear down this house, and I just want to thank you very much for seeing what we see in this house and how it could work and be preserved and still be a part of our neighborhood. And I think this is incredible what you've done. I know it takes sometimes a little longer to think about how you're going to place everything, but even though we don't have a lot to do with the floor plan, I think you've done an incredible job with this house. So again, thank you and welcome back to the neighborhood. Yeah. So if we can, do I hear a motion to approve with the following, I'm sorry, the public. Is there anyone in the public who'd like to speak on behalf of this application? Open. Well, Adrian, can you come up? We'd like to hear from you too, so please. And unfortunately, we are going to have to swear you in, so.
Okay. Would you raise your right hand? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. And your name and address?
Adrian Topping, 15 East Lane. I'm your next door neighbor. I'm also so very happy you're not tearing that house down. It's absolutely beautiful. We know we live in the least historic house in the neighborhood, so we're so happy you're keeping yours. I would love to just see the plans of what you're going to do. I also have a card with my number on it, and if you need anything, you are welcome to call, and welcome to the neighborhood. I just really wanted to come and see what it is you're doing to the place. I have no objections to anything whatsoever, and welcome. Thanks.
Thank you. I have a question for you. Are
Yeah.
you on the right or the left?
As you're facing the house, I'm on the left.
On the left.
Yes, so the driveway will come
Will
up on my
come up,
side.
okay.
Yes. I have
Great.
no problem with any of that.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. Excellent. Okay, so with that said, do I hear a motion to approve this application with the conditions that Barton has labeled, keeping the chimney? We're going to eliminate the fact that the interior part of that. Also, that you'll be submitting plans, correct, to the building department, and if we could make sure that we get a copy of those.
Of course.
And, yes, the landscaping.
Maybe we can say, for any trees that we remove, we'll replace in the yard.
If that's satisfactory with everyone, we can all agree with that? Perfect. Okay, then do I hear a motion to approve this application with the conditions listed?
Motion to approve as represented by the Commissioner.
A second?
Second.
Sarah?
Zachary Davis,
Yes.
Robert Frankel,
Yes.
Brad Jenkins,
Yes.
Justin Salen,
Yes.
Christine Best,
Yes.
Venkatesh Chatlavada,
Yes.
Allison Canfield.
Yes. And
Thank you.
again,
We appreciate it.
congratulations. Yes. Great. Well, we have something very exciting here. This is a great moment for all of us. Before I present the nomination for the Paper Mill Playhouse, Taylor Park, and the Milburn Town Hall, I just want to thank all of you for your support and help and making this happen. For me, it's moving us forward, respected as a municipal land use board, and we're being heard, by the township committee and the other boards. So I want to, take this moment to thank all of you. If Barton were here, he plays also a very big role in this. And he has gone above and beyond his duty as we move forward with designations or supporting the township in some of our historic buildings that were on the element of the master plan. So with that said, we have Paper Mill Playhouse at 22 Brookside Drive. This is an individual landmark. Do I hear a motion to approve a nomination on the Paper Mill Playhouse?
Motion to approve.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Thank you. Next would be Taylor Park, the Taylor Park Community Center, and that's 100 Main Street. It is also an individual landmark. So do I hear a motion to approve the nomination?
I have some corrections that
Oh, sure.
I'll send to Barton.
Please,
All right. Yeah, sure, motion to approve.
thank you. Second?
Second.
Thank you. Our third is Milburn Town Hall at 375 Milburn Avenue. Again, another individual landmark. Do I hear a motion to approve a nomination?
Motion to approve?
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Awesome. Okay. Sarah, can you?
Zachary Davis,
Yes?
Robert Frankel,
Yes.
Brad Jenkins,
Yes.
Justin Salin,
Yes.
Christine Best,
Yes.
Venkatesh Chatlavada,
Yes.
Allison Camfield.
Yes.